start of a new bi-weekly reading vlog. It is Monday, November 28th. I'm actually currently sitting outside my house waiting for my husband because I locked myself out. So I forgot to grab my keys from our little entryway table on my way out the door because I had my hands full. And normally we keep the garage door, the door that leads into the house, open, but it is not unlocked. So I had to call my husband and let him know that he locked the garage door and now I can't get into the house to get my keys to go to work. So while we're waiting for him, I wanted to go ahead and do an update since I'm now definitely not going to have time to do it outside of work like I normally do when I'm doing these car updates. This is the first clip that I'm filming for this vlog. I didn't have the opportunity to do anything over the weekend because I was so focused on Bookmas. In fact, a lot of the vlog footage that I did over the weekend was for Bookmas. It was like for this little decorate with me video that should be going live on my channel in a couple of days. Just something different, something to help get everybody into the holiday spirit. Not something I typically do on my channel, obviously, and I am not a decorator at all. I'm not a creative person. I find decorating very overwhelming. I only have a very small amount of holiday decorations, but I thought it would be fun to go ahead and put it all together in a video, especially as we were setting up our tree and things like that. In terms of reading, I believe the very last reading update that I gave in my last vlog was the fact that I was reading The Sound of Rain by Greg Olson, and I finished it and it was okay. I think I'm going to give it like a 3.5 stars. I was enjoying myself while I was reading it, but I felt very disconnected from it overall, and so when I wasn't reading it, I wasn't really thinking about it. I did like some of the twists that were included in the book, but I will say that it ended very, very abruptly. It was almost like Greg Olson had written this super long book and they were like, you know what, we're going to cut this into 2 books and we're going to cut it right here. It really did feel like there was so much that was left unresolved. It didn't feel like a natural stopping point. I can understand if a book was left unresolved because they planned to do a sequel, but the stopping point was very unnatural in my opinion. I do know that there is at least one other book in this Nicole Foster series. I don't know how many other books there are going to be, if it's still going on, if it's ended, I'm not sure, but I probably will continue because I didn't dislike the book. I found that I liked Greg Olson's writing overall, but I just didn't really feel emotionally connected to it. So if I read the second one and I feel the same, I probably won't continue going forward, but I would like to give at least one more a shot. And currently, for the very last book that I plan to read in November, I picked up A Bridge Across the Ocean by Susan Meisner. I have read As Bright as Heaven by Susan Meisner and I really, really enjoyed it. I liked that one a lot. And so when this one was picked by my random number generator, yes, I use a random number generator to select a lot of the reads if I'm not using my TBR game because I cannot use the brain space to make those choices, y'all. It's too difficult. But anyway, from what I am able to gather from the story so far is we're following 3 perspectives. The first perspective is set in present-day San Diego, California. We're following our main character, Brett. She actually has the capability to see and speak with ghosts, but it's not really something that she utilizes often. She tries to ignore them and pretend that they're not there, so she's not very much a ghost whisperer. But when an old friend from high school who knows what she can do contacts her saying, my daughter says that she's seeing her dead mother's ghost on the Queen Mary, Brett decides to go to the Queen Mary to see if the ghost is there. If you're not familiar, the Queen Mary was a luxury ocean liner back in the 30s through the 60s, I believe. It is now a historic landmark, hotel, museum, and tourist attraction in Long Beach, California. So it's like permanently docked there. So you have Brett in the present day going back to the Queen Mary, and then you're following 2 perspectives in the past. You're following a German woman in 1946. So the World War II is over at this point, and she's actually trying to escape. She had an abusive husband, and so she is trying to run away. And so she is going to America to be with an American husband. But I believe that she has stolen somebody's identity to do this. So I believe the husband that she's going to meet is a friend of hers husband. And I don't know if she's actually going to meet him there, but she's going to America under the guise of being with this husband. And then you're following the daughter of a French resistance member who was brutally killed. And now that daughter is on the run from the Nazis. And I believe she's going to end up on the Queen Mary as well, seeking safe passage to America. So far, I'm very much enjoying this. This is not a subject that I see covered a lot in historical fiction. You definitely see books set around World War II quite a lot, obviously, but I don't think I've ever had one set on the Queen Mary. So I'm definitely excited to continue with this. I'm very much engaged and connected with the story. Y'all, I should have done a mid-month wrap-up in November, but I didn't because I was doing that vlog where I was reading the lowest rated books on my TBR. And so I was like, okay, well, 4 or 5 of the books I'm reading in November, I'm not even going to put in this wrap-up. So I don't need a mid-month wrap-up. And then I've ended up reading a handful of other books since that time. So my wrap-up is going to be super long and I'm dreading filming it. I'm terrible at wrap-ups. But aside from that, that's really all the updates that I have for you at this time. I'll be sure to check in once I've read more of the Susan Meisner book that I'm reading and any other updates. I'm basically just waiting on my husband so that I can go to work and start the week. This is quite the start to the week. So anyway, I'll check in with you later all. a hot mess right now just because it is nighttime. Like, it's basically my bedtime. So I've done the work thing, the working out thing, the dinner, the cooking, the cleaning, all of that good stuff. But I did want to pop on here and give you an update because I finished A Bridge Across Oceans, or is it A Bridge Across the Ocean by Susan Meisner, and I wanted to give you my thoughts on that. And I just received my Illumicrate Afterlight box, so I figured we could unbox that together. Okay, so first the book. I can't actually remember what type of update or synopsis I gave you in my first clip regarding it, but I obviously now understand it a whole lot better. So this is a historical fiction, and it is basically told between 3 timelines, and 2 of those timelines end up converging. So in the very present day, which is I believe 2016, following a main character, Brett, who is basically sensitive to paranormal activity. She can see ghosts that are kind of caught in the in-between. And when an old schoolmate of hers asks her to go visit the Queen Mary because his daughter says that she sensed her dead mother there, and she now is refusing to leave the area. They don't even live in the area. They live in Texas. He doesn't know what to do. He can't get his daughter to leave. He asks Brett to go and see if she can sense this ghost there. But when she is on the Queen Mary, which is kind of like a natural hotbed for activity, it's well known that it is haunted, that there are a lot of ghosts around. She does sense this one particular spirit, and the spirit brings her attention to this former passenger who was on the ship in 1946 heading from London to America. And it's thought that this passenger committed suicide, but something is telling Brett that that is not the case. And so she's now kind of taking it upon herself to look into this, which is very unusual for her because she basically has never paid any attention to her gift. She has basically gone her whole life ignoring it, just not wanting to acknowledge it, not wanting to deal with it. And that has actually kind of caused problems in her life that she didn't foresee. She didn't know the consequences of doing that. And now she kind of feels like she needs to help this spirit. She needs to figure out what is going on. She feels like it's going to help her understand herself better, and it's also going to help her in other areas of her life. Meanwhile, you're also flashing back to 2 historical periods. You're following 2 different characters. One is Simone, and she is currently hiding out in a basement or a wine cellar because she is wanted by the Gestapo because she has actually killed one of their members. You're also following the perspective of Annalisa, who unwittingly basically finds herself married to a Nazi, and the horrors that he puts her through and the lengths that she goes to escape him. And then eventually these 2 perspectives converge in 1946 on the Queen Mary. I believe I mentioned it in my previous clip that the Queen Mary was a former luxury cruise liner, but it was also used in wartime as a troop transport, and it was also used to transport war brides to America. So women would meet soldiers overseas, and then eventually when the war was over, they would be transported to America to meet up with their husbands. And so you're finding Simone and Annalisa on the same ship, on the Queen Mary, heading to America, and you're finding out what led both of them there and what happened after they got on there and everything like that. I really enjoyed this story a lot more than I thought. I enjoyed all 3 perspectives, and I definitely enjoyed the resolution of the story. So if you are a historical fiction lover and you've never tried Susan Meisner, I would recommend this one. I would also recommend As Bright as Heaven. Both of them were fantastic, and I will absolutely be continuing with her as an author. Now, let's go ahead and get into Illumicrate Afterlight. If you are not familiar, Illumicrate Afterlight is the quarterly subscription service that Illumicrate offers the romance readers. Typically, their monthly subscription is fantasy and sci-fi, and so they've now done a quarterly box to kind of satisfy those who like other genres. I believe, if I remember correctly, this is now actually going to be bi-monthly going forward, so I'm probably going to get another one sooner rather than later. So anyway, enough chit-chat. Let's go ahead and get into the unboxing. There are a couple of bookish items, and then we'll get into the book. Okay, so the first thing I see are socks, and it's in this plastic packaging, which is very loud. So I'm going to go ahead and unwrap them, and then I'll show them to you. Okay, these are the socks, and they've got these happy, cheery snowmen on them. How cute are these? So I am honestly not a big sock person at all. I would live my life in flip-flops if I could get away with it and at work and my feet didn't get cold during the winter. But I think these would be really great for traipsing around the house. I probably would never wear them out. I would have no cause to wear them out, but I think these would be great house socks. And then the final item is actually this ornament right here. It is a beautiful little snowflake. It says it's called the Falling in Love ornament, which is lovely, and I can just go ahead and add it directly to my Christmas tree. There's also a bookmark in here. It says, "Ever wish it could be Christmas every day? Wish Again, and this is based on The Christmas Wish by Lindsay Elk, which I actually do have, and it is part of the tri-chapter video series that I'm going to be doing during Bookmas. So interested to see. I wonder if this is like a Groundhog Day thing. We also have this adorable print based on the book, and the letter from the author is on the back there. And then the book is Make You Mine This Christmas. How cute is that? Oh my gosh, it is so cute. And then of course there are the red sprayed edges. Oh, look. It's got snowflakes on the naked hardcover. Oh, that's so beautiful. Oh my goodness. All right, let me read what this is about. The golden rule of pretending to be someone's girlfriend. Don't fall for their sister. After a year from hell, Half is ready to blow off steam at a Christmas party. A kind stranger, a few too many drinks, and suddenly she's kissing Christopher under the mistletoe, in front of his ex-girlfriend. The next day, the news is out that they're apparently a couple madly in love and coming to Oxley to spend the festive season with Christopher's family. But Half doesn't have better holiday plans, and to save her new friend from embarrassment, she agrees to pretend to be Christopher's girlfriend for Christmas. It has all the makings of a hilarious anecdote they'll be telling for years, until Half meets Christopher's sister, the mysterious, magnetic, and utterly irresistible Kit. Maybe love was waiting for Half in this quiet little town all along. So this sounds like it's going to be like a wonderful, cute, sapphic romance, and I think I'm going to go ahead and add it to the potential December TBR books. All right, y'all, that is it for this update. I have got to go and get ready for bed because it is my bedtime. It is time to sleep. Since today is Tuesday, November 29th, and tomorrow is the very last day of November, and I have just finished the book that I was reading, I'm likely going to just go ahead and jump right into my December TBR. I definitely do not want to start another book now because I won't finish it by December 1st. So I think I'm going to go ahead and start one of my December books, and I will check in with you when I have another update. Hey y'all, I am looking somewhat presentable today, so I wanted to go ahead and not waste this and give you all a reading update because I did start the first book of my December TBR, which is Bountiful by Serena Bowen. This is the fourth book in her True North series. So this book is following Zara, and she runs a bar in the small Vermont town where all of these books are set. And typically a lot of these books center around the Shipley family or people that help them on their orchard. And Zara doesn't, but she was once connected with Griff Shipley. At the start of this book, you're seeing her very soon after her relationship with Griff has ended, and she's kind of in a rut. She's still kind of pining after him. And then one day this guy walks into the bar. They have this flirting thing going on, and then she ends up having a one night stand with him that turns into like a summer tryst before he leaves. He's a professional hockey player, and so he ends up having to go. And much to her surprise, 6 weeks later, she finds out that she is pregnant. And so she has spent the past 15 months raising her daughter on her own. She tried to find him, but she was unable to. And so she just kind of resigned herself to being a single mother. 2 years later, he actually decides that he wants to go back to Vermont for another vacation because he loved it there so much. And he ends up running into her and finding out he has a daughter. So I'm just at the point where he has finally met his daughter and things are building from there. To be honest, I'm kind of surprised because I don't even think I'm halfway through the book yet. And all of this has already happened. Like, he's already met his daughter, and I'm sure that the rest of the book is going to follow him as he builds a relationship with his daughter and probably reconnects with Zara in a romantic type of way. I'm assuming that's what's going to happen. But it seems like I have a lot left for everything that's already happened. But overall, I'm really, really enjoying this one. I'm enjoying this one a lot. I typically don't like kids in stories. I'm not a baby person. I'm not a child person. I am childless by choice. And I don't typically enjoy having them in stories, especially when it's like a major part of the plot. You know, I especially hate the unplanned pregnancy trope, but that's not what this is, and I feel like it works really well. You know, Zara had a tryst, she ended up pregnant, she had a daughter, and she's very much changed her life, and she loves her daughter immensely, and she's raising her, and it's very much like realistic, and I'm enjoying watching her journey. I like her as a character. She's a very strong, stubborn person, and I'm just enjoying watching her, and now I'm enjoying watching her and Dave reconnect. So far, this one is going very well, and I think it might actually be my favorite in the series so far. We'll see. I really liked Jude's story, which was number 2, so we'll see if this beats that. But this is definitely stronger than books 1 and even book 3 in my opinion. I'm really liking this one so far. I'm not currently reading anything physically at the moment. I have been doing the Try a Chapter series on my channel, so whenever I get a second, I go ahead and read the chapter of the next book that I need to go ahead and do that for. But I don't feel like my brain is in a place to read physically right now. I feel like my brain is all over the place and chaotic and scattered, especially when I'm doing Bookmas. And I don't feel like I really have the capacity to read physically, so we're gonna have to see how that works out. But that's really all I have in terms of reading updates. This vlog is very lackluster so far just because I'm so focused on Bookmas and creating that content and editing those videos. I'm not really focused on anything for this vlog, but to be honest, there really hasn't been much happening. This weekend, Robert and I are going to see Violent Night in theaters, which I'm so excited because seeing David Harbour as like an action Santa is exactly what my soul needs. And then we're actually going to the Christmas light show where we live. We've been here for 5 years. and we've never actually gone to that. So this year we are making it a point to go because it seems like it's pretty highly rated, and I'm excited. So I'll definitely get some footage of that. And if nothing else, I hope that you are enjoying the Bookmas content on my channel. All right, y'all, I think it's time for me to go ahead and head inside. So I will check back when I have finished Bountiful. Hey y'all, it is Sunday morning. I have been awful at updating this vlog. I'm not going to lie, I've just been so consumed with filming and editing for Bookmas that I've completely neglected this vlog. And to be honest, I have done hardly any reading in the month of December. I have finished one book and we are already on day 4. So I'm very, very much behind because I have not been prioritizing reading at all. So I did finish Bountiful by Serena Bowen and I really liked it. I gave it a 4 stars. It was just as sweet as I was expecting it to be. I think it's probably one of my favorites. I think Jude is still my number 1, but this is definitely number 2. So I just really enjoyed the story of Zara and everything that she has overcome. And I liked seeing the growth of Dave's character as he realizes that he is now a father and how he steps up and how he realizes what he wants in his life. It was just overall very strong, very cute. I have decided that Finley Donovan is Killing It is going to be the next book that I read, and that will satisfy the prompt to read one of my newest acquisitions, but I haven't started it yet. And my mind is so chaotic right now. I'm thinking about all of the million things that I have to do today, and it's already 11 o'clock, and all I've been doing is filming. Like, I filmed 3 or 4 things this morning, and it's taken me hours, and those are going to take me even longer to edit, and I still have to clean my house, which hasn't been done because I've been so focused on Bookmas. I knew Bookmas was going to take a lot of my time. I definitely knew it. It's going to calm down. It's going to be fine. And I have a winter break starting on December 22nd. So I will be off for approximately 10 days and Bookmas will basically be over by that point. And so I'm going to be able to catch up on a lot of things that I haven't been able to do. But if my house is in disarray, I'm in disarray. My house cannot be in disarray. Everything else can be in disarray, but my house cannot. So I need to get a jump on that. I need to do the laundry. I need to do all the things. But I wanted to come on here and at least give you an update. You will likely have seen that yesterday we had a little date night. We went to see Violent Night with David Harbour, which which was fantastic. It was exactly what you would want from David Harbour as Action Santa. It was perfect and extremely violent and creative with the murder. I loved it. And then we also went to a Christmas light show that we have here. We have lived here for 5 years now and we have never gone. And so I was glad to finally be able to do it. It wasn't very big. Like, it took us maybe an hour to walk through, but it was still really nice and Christmassy and just set the Christmas mood. Also, I got a really exciting package on Friday. It is the Always Fully Booked planner. So I have gone ahead and filmed a flip through, which will be up on my channel soon. And I've already started planning. I've already started working on some of my spreads. I could not help myself. So that is something that I also need to do, but I will probably wait to do that on my Christmas break because I'm not going to have any time to think about it between now and then. So it has just been crazy and chaotic, and I'm so sorry that there is not more to this vlog. I still have another several days before I'm going to stop filming for it and editing it, but that is just where we are today. I definitely have to edit at least one video to get it up for this week. I need to basically keep up a pace of editing one video a day, which is difficult with how long some of these are. So I might fall behind, and if I do, I do. I'm perfectly willing to go beyond Christmas Day if I absolutely have to, but I'm going to try to keep the pace as much as I can. So we'll see, but I really need to stop chit-chatting. I gotta go. I gotta get stuff done. So I will check in with you when I've actually started Finley Donovan is Killing It. Hey y'all, I am just getting ready to head out to work, but I had some bookish mail I wanted to share with you and a reading update. So I did start Finley Donovan is Killing It, and as I expected, it's a pretty good time, but it's actually a little bit more serious than I thought, just because what I was expecting to be nothing but hilarious chaos actually turns into something a little bit real. I don't know if that makes sense, but let me explain. So Finley Donovan is a struggling writer. In fact, she's kind of struggling in every aspect of her life. Her husband cheated on her, so she's no longer married. She's a single mom of 2. Her husband unexpectedly fired the nanny, and so she's having to deal with a lot of this on top of financial troubles. And when she's meeting with her agent one day to discuss the plot of her new, kind of suspense romance, that, along with some other circumstances, leads the woman who was sitting next to their table to believe that Finley is a hitman. She's a contract killer. And you think that that sounds absurd, that would never happen, but the way that El Casamano wrote this scene, I can totally understand where that came from. Although I don't necessarily believe a professional contract killer would be openly discussing their work in a Panera Bread. So basically, this woman approaches Finley and says, "My husband is a bad man and he needs to die, and I will give you $50,000 to make it happen." And Finley, of course, is shocked and confused, and she decides that she wants to kind of go check out this man to see if he's really as bad as his wife says, and things kind of go from there. I would say that I'm about halfway through the book and I am enjoying it. I'm not emotionally connecting with it though, so it's nothing that I'm dying to get back to or anything of that nature. It's just a good time. Right now it's sitting at about 4 stars. I don't necessarily think it's going to be a new favorite, but I'm glad that I am finally reading it. I'm very interested to see where this goes. I want to see if it's heading in the direction where I think this is heading, because I think that that would be phenomenal. This is just such a different take on things, and I'm enjoying it overall so far. All right, let's go ahead and get into the book mail. So my book of the month box came in, and I wanted to share my selections. Perhaps the most random one was an add-on that I put into my box. That is Dark Places by Gillian Flynn. So I have Gone Girl and I have Sharp Objects in the book of the month editions, and so I wanted to go ahead and snag this before they no longer had it. I mean, it has been on there for a really, really long time. It's probably been on there for a couple of years at this point, and I just wanted to go ahead and have a matching edition. This book is probably going to be the make or break for Gillian Flynn for me. I read Gone Girl years ago, and I think I enjoyed it for the most part, but I don't remember being as enamored with it as everybody else. I think people were more shocked by the twist than I was. As somebody who grew up reading mystery, thriller, suspense, it takes a lot to shock me, and I don't think I was necessarily as wowed by it, and I definitely didn't love the ending. I was just like, how come we went through all of this for nothing? That's just so weird. But I guess that was part of it, right? You're supposed to be frustrated at the very end, and you're like, oh, I didn't see that coming. I didn't think it was going to end up that way. So overall, I can understand why it's so beloved, but it just didn't wow me like it wowed everybody else. And I just really didn't like Sharp Objects at all. So I'm gonna go ahead and read this and see if I enjoy it, and see if I want to continue with Gillian Flynn if she ever does decide to release something new. I believe it's been several years at this point since she has released something new, but we're gonna see. My actual book of the month selection was All the Dangerous Things by Stacey Willingham. I read A Flicker in the Dark by Stacey Willingham earlier this year, and I enjoyed it. Let me see what this is about. So it says, 1 year ago, Isabel Drake's life changed forever. Her toddler son Mason was taken out of his crib in the middle of the night while she and her husband were asleep in the next room. With little evidence and few leads for the police to chase, the case quickly went cold. However, Isabel cannot rest until Mason is returned to her, literally. Except for the occasional catnap or small blackout where she loses track of time, she hasn't slept in a year. Isabel's entire existence now revolves around finding him, but she knows she can't go on this way forever. In hopes of jarring loose a new witness or buried clue, she agrees to be interviewed by a true crime podcaster, but his interest in Isabel's past makes her nervous. His incessant questioning, paired with her severe insomnia, have brought up uncomfortable memories from her own childhood, making Isabel start to doubt her recollection of the night Mason disappeared, as well as second-guess who she can trust, including herself. But she is determined to figure out the truth, no matter where it leads. So I am down for the ride. I'm down to see where this goes, and to see if Stacey Willingham might be a new go-to thriller author for me. I also got A Quiet Life by Ethan Joella. This just sounded really touching, and it sounds like it deals heavily with grief. Like, it follows a few different characters, and as they're all dealing with their own certain type of grief and possibly how they come together. I think it's set in like one specific neighborhood. So it follows 3 different characters, and it says, in A Quiet Life, the lives of 3 individuals intersect in unforeseen ways as each character bravely presses onward, trying to recover something they have lost. Tender, emotionally powerful, and infused with hope, A Quiet Life explores how grief shapes our choices and shows that no matter how dark the most difficult moments can be, our humanity and capacity for forgiveness shine through. So that just sounded really beautiful. I don't know if enjoy is the right word, but I like reading books that focus heavily on grief just because I think that that is something that we can all relate to. I think it's a shared human experience that no matter what, everybody has experienced some form of grief in their lifetime, and it can be very bonding as well. I have never read anything by Ethan Joella before, and I'm just willing to give him a shot because it sounds poignant and character driven and touching, and it just sounded like something I was interested in. And then these last 2 are just 2 that I ended up reading in the month of November and wanted to go ahead and have on my shelves. I read The Last to Vanish by Megan Miranda as part of that vlog where I read the lowest rated books on my TBR, and I actually enjoyed it for the most part. And since I have every other Megan Miranda book, whether I enjoyed them or not, I wanted to go ahead and have this. I also got Indelible by Karen Slaughter, and wouldn't you know, this is like the correct size hardback. If you recently watched the video where I talk about my bookish wish list, one of the wish list items was matching hardcovers of Karen Slaughter books, because this is now the 4th book in the Grant County series that I have, and all of the other ones are different sizes. I think this matches one of the other sizes, but I'm just infuriated that they're all different sizes. That bugs me to no end. But I got this fully expecting it to be on the smaller size like A Faint Cold Fear was, but it's not. It's like exactly the size that I need it to be. So huzzah for that. All right, y'all, it is time for me to head to work and continue listening to Finley Donovan, and I will give you more of an update once I have finished it. I don't think I will finish it today. I would like to because I'm feeling very behind in the month right now. It's December 6th and I've only finished 1 book. That is just because I've been so caught up with Bookmas, and I'm also like listening to booktube videos and trying to catch up on a few things on Netflix. And so I'm not necessarily 100% prioritizing listening to audiobooks at the moment, but that's another thing too. I still have to do like the try chapters and stuff. So there's just a lot going on, and I don't know how much I'm actually going to get read in the month of December. We're going to see. But for now, I'm off. I'll check in with you later. Hey y'all, I just got back from work and the gym, and sorry about the hot mess and the lighting and everything like that. But anyway, I got an exciting package today. It is my first ever Authentic Books box. This is a new to me bookish subscription service that I discovered, and I'm going to be doing a full unboxing on my channel. I'm pretty sure that this is the November box because it ships the very last week of the month that it's for. So November's box shipped around November 30th, and I'm just now getting it. I also have December's box on order and a special edition holiday box on order, which should hopefully be shipping soon, and I can do an unboxing of that as well. But I'm super excited about this. This seems like a fantastic book box. I'm going to tell you all about it in that unboxing video, but I already know the book because you actually get to select the book for this one, which I haven't really seen in any other subscription services but Book of the Month, and that was the main draw for this box for me. So super excited. In terms of a reading update, I did finish Finley Donovan is Killing It, and it was such a good time. I really enjoyed it. Like, I knew going into it that it was going to be like a fun, chaotic time, but what I really enjoyed about it was El Cosimano's ability to make it somewhat believable, in that she made everything that happened in the book seem like it could actually happen. And it wasn't just like a fluff time, you know. At first, it was reminding me a lot of Janet Ivanovich's Stephanie Plum series, because Stephanie Plum is like an accidental bounty hunter. She kind of stumbles into that career. She's not very good at it, and every single book is just a hilarious, chaotic time. Those books are really just fun, fast, kind of palate cleansers. You don't really have to think too hard when you're reading them. This actually had a lot more substance than I was expecting. I just enjoyed it overall, and I'm very, very excited to continue. Finishing Finley Donovan meant I completed the challenge to read my most recent acquisition. I have since started Window Shopping by Tessa Bailey. This satisfies the prompt to read a book with red on the cover. This is a very short, quick holiday read. I may even be able to finish it tomorrow, so that's good. That'll make me feel a little bit more accomplished. But basically, this follows our two main characters. The first is Stella, and she has actually just been released from a correctional facility. And one day, she is strolling down Fifth Avenue, and she stops at this window display for this nice department store, and the window display is horrific. And so she's just kind of there staring at it. And all of a sudden, this really tall, broad-shouldered guy comes up and is starting to talk to her and get her attention, and she wants none of it. But he asks her what her opinion is on the window display, and she gives it to him because I guess at one point actually being a window dresser was a dream of hers. And so she has really great ideas and really articulate reasons behind the ideas, like what the window display would actually mean and what people would see when they look at it. And so he's actually really impressed by her, and he says, "You should apply. I hear that they're looking for a window dresser." And she goes off thinking nothing of it because she has a felony charge, and so she knows that they're never going to hire her. But the guy that she was talking to is actually the general manager of the store, and his family actually owns the store. And so he's like instantly obsessed with her. When all of the applications start coming in, he's like specifically looking for her application, and he's doing everything in his power to be able to interview her because he wants to see her again. And it's just kind of going from there. I just started it this afternoon. I've listened to maybe 30 to 40 minutes of the audiobook, so not very long at all. But so far, this is such a cute, fun time. I found myself giggling within the first chapter of this book because it was so funny. The main character, Aiden, is a Southern boy, and so he's got this thick Southern drawl. He's definitely the sunshine in this book. So this book is like a reverse Grumpy Sunshine romance where he is the sunshine and she is the grump, and he is just pure cinnamon roll. This so far is a joy to read. I'm really enjoying it. I don't necessarily know if it's gonna like be anything substantial because it is so short, and it is just probably meant to be like this very lighthearted holiday romance, possibly a little bit steamy, I don't know, but I'm having a really good time with it so far. That's the reading update. That's the Bookish Mail update, and that's really it, y'all. I'm so excited to film this authentic book box unboxing that'll be coming on my channel very, very soon. Definitely after this vlog goes live, so be on the lookout for that. But I'll check in with you a little bit later, possibly after I've finished window shopping. Hey everyone, it is Friday, December 9th, and so I'm here to officially wrap up this bi-weekly reading vlog. I did finish Window Shopping by Tessa Bailey last night, and it was just delightful. I highly recommend if you are in the mood for a quick, fun, heartwarming, but steamy at the same time read. I feel like this book had a lot of really great elements to it. There was definitely some clever banter. I enjoyed Tessa Bailey's writing style. I really felt the chemistry between the two main characters, even though they were very different. And like I said, it got really steamy at certain points. This wasn't very long. It was 250 pages, so there is definitely a lot packed in, and I really enjoyed watching their progression. I really liked their relationship. I found myself smiling and even laughing out loud at certain points. Overall, it is exactly the type of read that you would want during this time of year. It didn't really feel Christmassy. Like, it is set at Christmas, and it's about Stella decorating windows and Christmassy themes, but really that's the only Christmas that you get in the story, which is fine, which is totally fine. It didn't ruin the experience of it for me at all. It just didn't really give Christmas vibes. It really is just more of like a romantic comedy type of situation, but I gave it 4 stars. I really enjoyed it, and now I'm even more excited to continue with Tessa Bailey as an author. So that was a solid read, and that satisfied the prompt to read a book with red on the cover. So now I have read 3 books in December, which I feel much better about, and I have just started Book Lovers by Emily Henry, and I am loving it so much. So this follows our main character, Nora, and she is kind of like a cutthroat literary agent. Books are her life, and she does whatever she can to get the best deal for her clients. And Nora is never really like the hero in her own story. If anything, she kind of embodies the trope of the woman that gets dumped for like the small town baker or things like that. She's not cold and heartless like you might be imagining. She is very ambitious. She is very focused on work and her clients. You know, she lives in big city New York, and she lives the big city New York lifestyle, and she constantly finds herself dumped for one reason or another, and usually it is for somebody else that embodies more of those romantic tropes that you might see in books. And in the very opening of this book, you are following Nora as she's meeting with Charlie Lastra. And Charlie Lastra is, I think he's a publisher or he's an editor of some kind. And she's going there on behalf of one of her clients because she's trying to get him to publish her book. And it is not a great meeting at all. It is really, really not. The tension is there. Charlie is kind of a jerk, and he really does not like the book that Nora is pitching. And so then you're fast forwarding 2 years, and Nora is talking to her sister, Libby. They used to be really, really close once upon a time, but just life, things have kind of torn them away from each other over the past several months. Libby has a family, and she's pregnant with another child. And of course, Nora is focused on her work. But there's something going on with Libby, and Libby is just really desperate to have some time with her sister. And so she asks Nora if she will go on like a month-long vacation because it's slow in the publishing world. Nora doesn't have anything to do. Libby really needs a break before the other baby comes. And so she wants to go to Sunshine Falls, North Carolina, which is actually the town where that rejected novel was taking place. And now 2 years later, that novel is like taking the world by storm. And so Libby wants to go to Sunshine Falls because she loves that book. She wants to go where it is set, and she just wants to have some time away. So that's where I am in this book. Nora and her sister Libby are headed to Sunshine Falls. And then I believe it goes from there with Nora and them actually running into Charlie during their time in Sunshine Falls. So I'm really excited to see where this goes because there is definitely going to be some great banter in here. I just know it. I love Emily Henry's writing. I love her observations, especially about the writing world and being a book lover and being in the book world. So far this is fantastic. I'm really enjoying it a whole lot, and I've only just listened to like 25 minutes of it. So hopefully it just gets better and better. And that's it for me in terms of reading updates. Book Lovers is going to satisfy the prompt to read a book on someone else's TBR. This is actually a book club pick, so I know it's on a lot of people's TBR, so I'm kind of cheating in that way, but this is definitely going to satisfy another prompt, and I'm excited to continue reading. So for now, I gotta head into work. I gotta edit and upload this vlog so it's up on time for Sunday, and tomorrow we're headed back to the Ren Fair, so I'm gonna try to get some more footage of that for you. That's it for me and this vlog, guys.